Hey Stampers and Crafters, this is Melissa Laws from Melissa Stamps, and today I am bringing you the Projects to Go projects. There are two. These are the ones that I did a video on at the beginning of this month. There is a cube and a card that we're going to do, so this video is going to be a little bit longer. And so they are Mother's Day based, and we are using the Mother's Flair stamp set. And remember, if you purchase this stamp set from me anytime this month, you will receive the kits to make both the card and the cube, and so I will send those to you via US mail. So I can only ship to people in the United States. If you're overseas, I'm not able to ship to you. I apologize. But let's get started with the projects. We're going to do the card first, and then we'll do the cube. So let's see, what we need for the card is a piece of 8.5 by 5.5 powder pink, a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 berry burst, and then a piece of 3 3/4 by 5 inch whisper white. So let's do our folding. And I'm going to, well, I was going to grab my bone folder, but I don't know where it went. Let's do this. We'll use the edge of an aqua painter. Whatever works, you know. I'm going to go ahead and glue down my berry burst with some snail. You know what? Yes, I can do that. So there's the berry burst. We'll set this aside and we'll do some stamping. I'm using berry burst ink as well, and we're going to use many of the stamps. So I'm using the Stampin' Off technique. So here's one of the shoes, and I did another one down here. Here's the hat. Stamp on the paper, and then you stamp here. Stamp on the paper, and then stamp on your background, I should say. Here's the teapot. So you just stamp it off. And you can put these wherever you like. I'm just kind of following what I did in the other card. Here's the purse. And the flowers on these are so cute. There we go. So there's all the stamping for this part of the card. The other part of the card, I'm going to set that aside. Let's get all of our stamping done at once. I used the sentiment, hope your day is as wonderful as you are. So I'm going to ink that up and stamp that down as well. I'm going to cut this out with a 1.5 inch punch, and it fits just right. So there's that. I do need another piece of berry burst because I need an 1.5 inch circle to go behind that sentiment. So there's my 1.5 inch circle in scallop. So that one is scalloped. And then I took this and I cut this one in half. And then I used this absolutely amazing crinkle seam binding ribbon in berry burst. I love this ribbon. It's so soft and it ties really good bows. So I really enjoy working with this one. If you haven't gotten this, you might want to invest in it. And it comes, let's see, in 10 yards on the roll. So let's get our piece back. I'm going to go ahead and put my ribbon on. We're going to move this off to the side, and I'm going to get my ink out of the way. And this is how I do my ribbon. I snail it. Just right along the edge. Line it up, pick it up, and make it taut to the back. Cut that off. And there your ribbon is attached. We're going to set that aside and use it again on the cube. Now we just need a little snail on these scallop circles. They go like this. And I am going to pop up this sentiment with some dimensionals. And I'm going to go right down the middle. I'm using the mini dimensionals. Only because that's what I had out. I like both the mini and the regular size dimensionals. So I will put the snail on this other half and set it down. Put this right in the center. You know what I didn't do? Let's do that real fast. Use your Berry Burst ink and just roll it through, and it gives it a nice edge. See the difference? Gives it a nice edge. You set your sentiment down, add your snail to the back, bring in your card again, and here is your Mother's Day card. This does not have to be Mother's Day. This can be to anybody. I like the sentiments for this a Mother's Flair stamp set. It's got a Happy Mother's Day, but it also says you make motherhood look so good, which is definitely mother related. But life is beautiful because of you. That could be for anyone. Hope your day is as wonderful as you are, which is what we just used. I like that one for anyone as well. So I'm using this for a Mother's Day card. I'm going to send this off to my stepmother. My real mother is no longer with us. Otherwise, I would have sent her one. But I will send this to my stepmom, and she keeps all the cards and all of the 3D projects that I make, and I love sending her stuff. So that's the card. Let's work on the cube. What you'll need for the cube is a piece of 8.5 by 5 or 8.5 by 11 powder pink. We're going to cut this down. It's going to be 10.5 by 8. So that's what we need for this part. 10.5 by 8. I did powder pink. We're going to use our scoreboard. And we are going to score on the long side. Let me show you. Well, we're going to score it first and then I'll show you the template. we're going to score on the long side at 2.5, 5, 7.5, and 10. And then we're going to turn it to the short side, 1/4 turn to the left, and score again at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. And this is what we end up with. Now let me show you your template. You know I like to do a template for you guys. I think it's easier to visualize how this is supposed to go. So here's the template. And you can see my original. I am taking the one that I just scored and flipping it over so it matches this template. So this little tiny corner is up in the right hand side. So we are going to cut this piece and 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 this piece out. We're going to cut this piece out completely. We're going to cut up the lines, and I'll show you that. And then we're going to cut up the lines on this side as well, and we're going to work on the squares. So let's do a little bit of burnishing. Oh, I found my bone folder. Fantastic. So let's do our burnishing first. And I want to wish all of you out there, you and yours, a happy Mother's Day. I happen to be a mother of 4, and I love Mother's Day. I love what the kids make me. They come up with some of the cutest things. I still keep them and display them all over the place, much like my stepmom does and my mom used to. Let me scoot this back where it's supposed to be. Okay, so here, burnished all the score marks. Let's do some cutting. I'll leave this here so you can kind of refer to it. Here is this corner piece. We're going to cut the corner and all the way down for that first line. We're going to keep this center one. Then we're going to cut this last one. Then we're going to go on this side and we're going to cut out this one. And these are just the half inch marks that we're cutting out right now. This one in particular, we are cutting out the whole cube, the whole ½ inch mark and the square that goes with it. So that's the second box. And that one's gone. Then we keep the very last one, so we keep this last ½ inch mark and we cut out this ½ inch mark or line on the third one. So this is what you have when you're done. Let's move all this out of the way. And then you're going to do your cut marks. You're going to cut up here. And you can notch if you like. I don't usually notch. What I mean by notch is you cut a little piece out, almost the size of your score mark. So see, there's a little notch. You can notch your pieces if you like. I don't find it necessary. My stuff has gone together just fine. And we cut this one in half on the other side. And then this one's out. And so this is what we have left. We are going to round these corners And I need a corner rounder. What did I do with the corner rounder? You know what? I have a brand new corner rounder that I think I get to use. This is the brand new corner rounder from the new catalog. See this? It's got 3 sides. It's got a ribbon side, a decorative side, and a corner rounding side. And we are going to round the corner. See, I marked it round for you on this edge. Let's see if I can make this work. Oh, that's so easy to use. Look at that, rounded corners. I did not have a Stampin' Up! Corner rounder, and this one works wonderful. Okay, so you've seen this. You got a good visual on the actual square and how to cut it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take 4 2¼ inch by 2¼ inch squares. We are going to ink these up, and we are going to stamp on these. I've got my Berry Burst ink again. I'm going to do the purse first, and I'm doing full strength ink this time. Well, I'm just throwing my blocks. Teapot, purse. Here's the hat. Really like that hat. And then the shoe. Okay, I'm going to put my ink away. Actually, no, instead of putting my ink away, I am going to ink my one last piece, which is the Happy Mother's Day. I'm going to move these aside and let's stamp the Happy Mother's Day. I've got ink on my hand, so I'm inking up my piece of paper. I do that all the time. Okay, so here's our Happy Mother's Day. We're going to do it to the side because we're going to punch a hole in the top. Well, no, I don't like that. We're going to do it again. There we go. Happy Mother's Day. And I'm going to put away this ink so I stop getting it all over my hands because I'm making a mess. We're going to use a standard hole punch. I'm using my standard one that's falling apart, but it works still. And you just put a hole punch in it. And then we're going to bring back our cube. This is the top. And this is the flap to close it. And then we're going to snail all these 2¼ by 2¼ pieces onto the cube. So you want to adhere them before you put the cube together. It's just going to be easier. The assembly is much easier. So here's the teapot. What do we have next? The hat. And then last is the shoe. And then to close it, we're going to use this little flap. And I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape on that. Just because it's sturdier when you're trying to do 3D projects. I like the closures to be nice and secure. So here's the tear and tape, and I'm going to fold this over, and there's the box. And then we go 1, 2, 3, and I'll take some snail and close. If you're doing something heavy, you may want to do tear and tape on the bottom, but I'm not doing anything heavy. So there's the bottom. Here's our cube. These two fold over and they close by the flap. And the last thing that we do is we put the ribbon on, and I just did the same ribbon, the crinkle seam binding ribbon. Do extra piece so you can tie it, but you also need to add the Happy Mother's Day to it while you're in the middle of tying it. So you do your first knot and then you add the Happy Mother's Day. Get it nice and taut. And there's your, let's cut this off. There's your box, your cube. So here's the cube. And again, here's the card. What a wonderful thing you can give to your mom, your stepmom, your friends that are mothers. Mother's Day does not have to be just your mother in particular. It can be your friends. It can be close loved ones, aunts and not uncles. Oh, you caught me. But aunts for sure, and grandparents. And I learned that the hard way when my mother passed. I used to think Mother's Day, you know, was just for my mom and that was it. And then I learned how many other people I could be helping spread the love to and appreciating after she passed. So I hope you enjoyed this project. And like I said, you can still purchase the Mother's Flair stamp set through my website here at melissastamps.com. If you purchase that during the month of April, I will still send you the kits to make the cards and the cube. And if you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and also hit the little bell in the subscribe so that you can get notifications on when I put my videos out. Usually I put them out on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but it will alert you. Like last week I did a different day, so that way you'll be on top of that. And I hope all of you have a wonderful Happy Mother's Day, and I will see you next time.